And here we are again, staring down an age-tech from software game. One could wonder why I keep doing this to myself, but I think we all know why I keep doing this. Because in the end, I do like these, even if they do make me quite angry after a while. It'll be fine. I think I've got the audio balance fine. I kind of rushed this one a little bit because I was sitting here for a while today trying to decide what to do. And this just kind of hit me after a bit that I hadn't continued this series.
The cursed land lies deep in a dense, colorless forest. Hidden within this land is an ancient city, once known to the forest folk as the Holy Land. Buried in the depths of the city, a warning was discovered long after the rulers have fallen. Grave misfortune will befall those who behold the idol that stares into the darkness. The idol, taken from the ancient land, led the kingdom down a path of destruction. The idol must be returned. Under a dark and cloudy sky, the Swordmaster led his men to the ancient land. The cursed land swallowed the soldiers, and all that remained was dark silence.
I'm gonna guess that's our house. See, if somebody just knocked on my door and held up a creepy fucking idol, I would just slam the fucking door in their face. The hell with that. No. No creepy statues. No thank you. Now, I'm gonna show you guys something, and I'm gonna save state to do it. I will not be using save states outside of absolute necessity going forward, but in the interest of showing you guys something I found when I was testing this game, I want you to look at the ground here. Looks safe and fine, doesn't it? You know, just looks like ground, even though it's a slightly different color from the rest of the ground here. Watch what happens if I step on it. Dead. I wanted to do that to set the tone for what we'll be having happen here. Like any other Kingsfield or Shadow Tower or any of that, this will not hesitate to kill me. And sometimes in ways that make no sense at all. So be ready for that. I actually legit was startled by that when I was testing the game, because I was remembering my controls, sidestepped, went into that area, and died. I'm just like, huh. Because I'd played a little bit of this previously. So I was dabbling with it when I was playing all the other games like Eternal Ring and Shadow Tower Abyss and all that good stuff. I ended up not doing this one because it was running a little funky, didn't really have a good solution for it at the time. And of course, I was worried about getting a little bit burnt out from playing too many of these back to back. Which is why there was a bit of time between when we did Shadow Tower and when we started this one. Other thing to note is, as usual, there's not going to be voice acting for the people I'm talking to, so I will be reading all of that in as best a set of voices as I can do. I'm sure you're all used to that by now, but I'm just mentioning that for clarity's sake. I'm from Helidon. My fellow soldiers went to the ruins. Okay, and you are still here, which is probably why you're still alive. I'll be taking this, though. Hope you don't need it, because I'm definitely going to need it. And if you do need it, I can expedite your problems by just smacking you upside the head with your own club. Now, I'm noticing a bit of weirdness on the stick with turning. It's not always turning when I try to turn. So, don't be surprised if that comes back to haunt me. Now, another funky thing. The sign outside that I think I forgot to click on, said the same thing, Shop David Bunch. I'm assuming that means that the shop is actually in here, whereas the other sign was just pointing in the general direction of where the shop is. Yeah, I would not be surprised if I get killed a couple times by the turn not turning. Okay, yeah, this is the shop, okay. There's nobody home. Oh, there he is. A customer? How odd. He's got the caretaker's map and some herbs, antidotes, mushrooms, sword, morning star, leather shield, iron helmet, leather vest, iron boots, and then we loop back to the map. Okay. None of that looks exorbitantly expensive, but I also don't know how well we're going to be making money, so that might be an issue. I also don't know if I can just go over here and take this. Well, let's find out. We haven't gone very far. Yeah, he doesn't seem to notice or care, so good news. Can I, like, shut this to pretend that that didn't happen? No? Okay. Well, let's just walk past his shop and see what's over here, then. Since apparently we can just go over here. Can I, like, squeeze behind this? No. Do I have a jump button? No. Actually, that is probably an important thought. Okay, there are no controls I don't know about. Okay. That was important to double check. And I think we're okay on the settings. Everything sounds decent enough. Okay, you can have other backgrounds. Not sure why you would, but they exist, I guess. This is the thing we were given in the intro to bring back here. Since apparently that entire army failed, so you know what? Let's just give it to this one fucking random guy over here. He totally can make it with this statue of death and curse and awful in his hands. We have no magic. Okay. You would think they would also have, you know, thought of the idea of maybe exploring and or clearing this area out before trying to send somebody in with the statue. Rather than just charging straight in. I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume this water's not gonna be great for me, but I'm gonna step in it anyway. Well, it's not deep enough to kill me. At least not immediately. So that's a good sign. I'm gonna go back to where we were, though. I have a feeling that that's gonna dead end out at some point. Relatively soon? Because there's just, you know, be a deep spot or something and I'm just gonna fucking die. Not to mention, from when I played this previously, I do remember that there's some stuff I want back up above. There's a skeleton in there. And not the dead kind, the up and walking about to be a problem kind. Also, shopkeep, can I have this? No? Okay. Now I have left the brightness in the middle. Because in testing I didn't really notice a problem, but we might get to some real dark areas at some point. We'll find out. Now, I think on the title screen it said 2002 for this, and I seem to recall that Eternal Ring was 2004? But I might be remembering that wrong. Because the modeling on this looks pretty good. I mean, it is a PS2 game, so the models will look decent. But I feel like these look better than some of the stuff we saw in either of the other two. But with this potentially being earlier, then I'm just confused. Maybe toward the end of the session I'll double check my dates and such. Or somebody else can correct me. But since this was pretty spur of the moment, I did not actually do my research today. So absolutely nothing can be guaranteed. And actually, hang on. I just had a hindsight moment. I'll just go over into this category instead. I had it in the dedicated Kingsfield category, and then I thought about it a bit more. I am betting nobody's going to be looking for Kingsfield 4. Some of the other ones I think people would have actually looked for. This one I literally have never heard of until I found it kicking around looking for this kind of thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is one that's just kind of lost to time a bit. Then again, I thought nobody knew what Eternal Ring was either, and people came out and were like, yeah, I remember this game. The fuck you mean you remember this game? Yeah, also with how kind of streamlined picking things up feels. Because, like, the gold's, like, instant. Whereas everything else is kind of the normal pick it up thing. I feel like this does actually come after the other two. Or they just happened to do it better for this one and then fucked around with the others. I don't know. Hard to say on that one, really. You've always got an endless array of options for how developers handle things. There's a chest over there, but I feel like I remember there being something in this ruin. More barrels. Just for my own sanity's sake, can I actually break these if I hit them a couple times? Doesn't seem like it, because I would figure if they were gonna break 3 or 4 hits would have been sufficient. Let's not worry about that then. Expeditions chest. Okay. How about you open the expeditions chest then? Interesting. That bounces off, whereas the barrels make a crack noise. Huh. Weird. Maybe that is significant in some way. I'm gonna guess I can't do anything with that chest right now, considering it would not let me break it, nor would it let me open it. And we have nothing else to work with, really. That orb over there on the left would appear to be our health in this specific one. There we go, we gained a level. That's good. Now, compared to Eternal Ring and Shadow Tower and even Shadow Tower Abyss, I have no experience with this one. Like, at all. This one's basically blind. The little bit of walking around in here I'm doing is basically as much as I've ever done. Oppressive dark clouds perpetually obscure the skies in this area. Amid the ruins lurk monsters and poisonous mists. Misfortune that befell Helidon was the idol from the ancient city. The expedition led by the Swordmaster into the city has disappeared. That being, I assume, the expedition that chest we saw belongs to. I don't know if something's funky with my dead zones on my stick, or if this one in particular is just being weird. Because I don't remember having much left to right issues in any other PS2 games, so this shouldn't be acting up the way it is with my turning. It also seems to mostly be when I turn left, not when I turn right, which is a little odd. And I'm having some forward issue too. I may need to check on something there. We'll take a look at that in a little bit, because it's not actively hampering me currently. Though, actually, I suppose it would be wise if I just get that out of the way now before it actually kills me. You know, sometimes I can be a smart man and actually think about that. All the mapping looks okay. I don't actually appear to have any settings for that in here. So that's slightly odd. Wait. Aha! Yeah, no, there is currently a 0% dead zone, so that can't be the answer. So apparently there is a slightly odd sensitivity setting, but it says that that's recommended, so I'm going to leave that alone for the most part. Yeah, no, I'm rotating fine now after I turned that sensitivity up to the max recommended value, just as a test. So I guess maybe that did help? It may also be that this stick just doesn't like going forward and left at the same time anymore. Because you notice, it's just when I do a forward-left sweep that it starts getting a little weird. Because forward-right is fine. Forward-left is a little crunchy, which is weird. You know what it might be, actually? I was showing somebody how to calibrate their controller, and I might have accidentally hit something when I was doing that. So I might have fucked up the calibration on this controller. Yeah, because it's not a game issue, because if I switch to the D-pad and go forward-left, it's fine. So I think I might have just screwed up the stick a little bit. We'll just use D-pad, it'll be fine. Need be, we can sort that out in the future. More accurately, I will sort that out in the future. The blur when we rotate's a little weird on my eyes. Huh, I would have figured there would have been something up here. Oh, maybe there still is. Aha! Rises. That, I assume, is a healing potion of some kind. And that is the building we saw the door for, so we'll go back around and go through the door later. Or we'll drop down through it once we're done up here, depending on how things play out up here. Basically, I just don't want to have to climb all the way back up here if I don't have to. So there's something there on the edge. There's also something on top of the wall. What is this? A trap. That's what it is. I had a feeling. Because it was too easy. Yeah, it's one of the good old standard, it's too quiet, something's gotta go wrong moments. Well, let's try that door now, I guess. Also, I keep habitually going back to the stick. So wait, didn't I mess with something in the settings at some point for this, or was... No, that was the PS1 that I fucked with the stick settings for. Originally, because I had switched something around so that it stopped being weird. Okay, the door does open. This works out in our favor for the most part anyway. As soon as I saw the fingers of those gloves, I really thought they were teeth on a mimic, and it was about to fucking bite my hand off, and I was gonna be mad. Wooden box. Yep, it sure is. And this is our save point for this game. A very unhappy-looking angel thing. It's no happier to be here than we are. It's also got a third eye, but, you know, just don't worry too much about that. But we now have a leather helm, and we also have leather gloves. So we're not completely without equipment anymore. Yeah, I can see why that wouldn't be the most desirable headpiece. It's just leather with some metal shit nailed onto it. And then just stuffed on your head. Okay, yeah, it's just herb plus. Which we are pretty bad off, so let's munch an herb and see how much it does. Okay, so for our shitty amount of health, herbs are plenty. Got it. Yeah, we grabbed the box that was up there already. I assume we can't pass the area that broke over there, so we're probably done in there. Not sure what the deal with those lines up there are, but I'm sure we'll figure that out at some point if they're actually supposed to be there. Which is debatable, admittedly. Can I go down here? That looks like a fast way to break my legs. But we did just save. Who needs legs anyway? Whee! Yep, broke my legs. It's no big surprise. We'll need to use the herb again, and I think we might need to put the armor back on. I forget whether I put it on before I saved or not. I think we did all that in one menu 2 times, so... Yep. Okay. And I didn't find anything else yet. But as you can see, you have a decent amount of slots, and there is a shortcut slot, so we'll probably be making use of that at some future point. I won't use them yet because, as usual, I'm terrified of wasting items because they'll be on an item button, and I end up hitting the item button by accident. For those wondering, yes, I do keep habitually going back to the stick instead of using the D-pad like I said I was going to. That's why you see me sometimes juddering around. Miner's Graveyard. Okay. Hello, sir. Are you a miner and/or gravekeeper? If so, good. If not, what the fuck are you doing over here? From the look of you, I would assume you were part of the expedition. Bridge is also fucked, so that's not ideal. There is an herb next to the bridge. This seems like a death trap, but I will take it anyway. Because I can be brave and stupid like that sometimes. Sir? There we go. I had no idea things were like this. Okay. Is there any other way? My wife is waiting for me on the other side of the cliff. Still, Fuck off, Dots. Okay. I probably should have talked to the other guy a couple more times now that I think about it. So since we're going back anyway, we'll check in with him a couple more times and make sure I didn't miss any other dialogue with him. We'll inevitably be going back to the shopkeep, otherwise I would worry about getting all of his dialogue. I'm sure we'll be back there to get, like, the short sword or something before awful long. More likely to get the map, actually. We were sent here to rid our country of the curse. In this land, there are the underground ruins called the Ancient City. The expedition team was sent there. I became ill while we were camped out here. Who are you? Doesn't matter. You can't be of much importance since you're here. Rude. You're not wrong, but rude. This land is swarming with monsters. Be careful. Well, that was helpful. So, we seem to be running to a bit of an impasse here, so we might have to go where we saw those weird, like, pillbug-looking things on the other path before the door we went in here. Is it safe to say we can't go up the wall? Actually, there's one other thing I want to try. Need to do. Up on that wall. Because remember, we saw that thing on top of the other wall from up here. I want to get another look at that, and if I can, find a way to it. Because it looked like it might be a shield or something, and as much as I don't tend to use shields, I feel like we're going to need one in this game. So, let's figure that out, shall we? Ideally without tumbling down into the lava. I assume this bit jutting out is probably our key to victory here. Yeah, but see, there's that thing right there in the center of the screen. So it looks like unless we actually can jump, which we've yet to have that capacity before. Maybe we can climb up that wall? Because that does look like it makes a natural ramp up there. Give or take. Something's making awful noises around here, though, which is bugging me a bit. But I assume it's just like one of those plant things underneath where we are or something. I particularly hear it whenever we first came over here and we're looking this way. So that's concerning. I wonder if this will still do as much damage to us if I drop down this way now. Whoa. That was sudden, but didn't actually hurt us. Yep, it is those things making the squelchy noises. Okay. This might still hurt. Yep, it hurt a little. I just wanted to stay relatively close to where we were trying to get to. Which is why I dropped down rather than going all the way around. Nope, can't climb that. Okay. So how do I achieve what's up there? Because we know for a fact it's there. We can even see it from here a little bit. Unfortunately, this man does not know how to use his knees in order to ascend into the skies. I don't know what all that weird blurring that's happening when I'm turning is either, and it is screwing my eyes up something fierce. So give me a second to see if I can figure out why it's doing that suddenly. You've got anti-blur on. I'm gonna try a couple dumb ideas. Bear with me a second. Because I didn't spend as much time as I usually do tinkering with the rendering and all that good stuff. They've also since changed a lot of these settings from when I was tinkering with it before. There's also a slight worry where it's my eyes doing the blurring, and that could be a concern. But I'd rather not think about that right now. It still looks like it's doing the blurring thing when we turn. And it does not look any better. Turning issue is also still there. Because what I did was I for once turned VSync on to see if that was a tearing issue that was happening. I'm not used to seeing that. And I had also turned anti-blur off, as I mentioned. Didn't really seem to help anything, though. So I'm gonna fiddle a little bit here. It's gonna slow our actual gameplay down, and just, you know, bear with me on that. Yeah, I know you guys can't see when I'm tinkering with settings, so whenever I stop and I'm not actively doing anything, you can generally assume I'm fiddling with settings. Especially when you see it blink like that. Worst case, we end up with this looking better. What happens if I scale it up further? I would assume that would actually make things worse rather than better, which is what I'm aiming to prove. There we go. Ended up double-clicking on the window, so it freaked out a bit. No, I did not realize I could actually look up and down with the right stick. Huh. Neat. It seems to be holding stable, frame rate wise. And the blurring might be slightly less bad? Seems to be worse on the capture, so I apologize for that. In terms of the blur. Ironically enough, the game looks better on the capture. Which is not scaled in any other way other than how it is for me. Just in case anybody's wondering, it's like, oh, well, yeah, of course your capture's gonna look better if you've got it running through an upscaler. It's like, well, no, it's not on a capture card or anything. It's literally just OBS capturing the program over here. So, you know, that's a little weird. I'm just tinkering a little bit here and there. For reference, I've now raised it to what would be 1080p, according to the internal scaler for the emulator. So, in theory, things will look good. Looks about the same to me, but I've always been the one that gets yelled at for not understanding how things change and that kind of scaling and everything. No, actually, I guess I could see inside the mouth of these things a little bit better than I did before, so maybe there is a change. I don't know. And of course, raising the internal resolution can only do so much because they've only designed these textures and such for certain resolutions. So there's only so much better it can get. As you can see with, like, the rock walls and such that really just look like misshapen blobs no matter how you look at them. It mostly seems to be when we're looking at things that have edges to them, like the walls here, that the blurring seems to get really bad. Let's check in with the shop now that we've gotten some money. I think we might actually have enough to get something. Yeah, we have 142, so that should be good. I boarded up the passage to an old cemetery. Stay clear of that area, it is not safe. Well, that explains how that wall got boarded up. I can't quite afford the short sword like I would have liked. But we could trade the club for it. I don't think we want to. Because I feel like we're going to want to have bludgeoning damage on hand. Oh, actually, it literally does nothing, apparently. It's got attack 0. So you know what? Fuck it. Because this has, you know, actual attack. Oh wait, no. It did hit 50. For some reason I read hit as, like, hit rate. So it did 50 blunt, whereas this does 41/30 stab. And this does 46 hit, 47 stab. So it might come back to haunt me that I got rid of the club. But I think overall the short sword's probably going to serve us better. Just gotta watch out if I run into anything that's immune to everything but blunt damage. Kind of like those skeletons we saw. Those might be an issue. I'm sure it'll be fine. Out of an interest of not leaving myself in the position I've put myself in, though, I'm not gonna save quite yet. Let's go check out the the pill bug things and see how nasty they are. And determine our future from there. Because our current big question is going to be, where the hell are we going? And I would assume past those things, considering we seem to be hitting nothing but dead ends here unless we go through the water back in that other room. So I'm going to go out on a limb and assume we can't swim. But I'd also go out on a limb and assume these things are going to kick my ass. It's an ugly looking thing. Oh, it tracks real good. Give it that. Got a charge, okay. They can be harmed. I gotta be careful because I saw another gray patch nearby where we are. And I'm betting if I step in that, it'll kill me just like the previous one did. Okay, they're not too bad. They're not very smart and they aren't any stronger in terms of health than the things we were fighting before. Well, they probably do actually have more health, but the sword is strong enough that it balances out. Not sure I really want to fight too many of them, though. Especially not at once. Ow! Okay, they hit pretty hard. So we will continue the dominant strategy we've had with most of these, which is circle strafe to victory. Okay, that one died in 2. I guess we got better hits on that one. Let's just go in instead of dealing with all of them, though. Just make sure none of them come creeping up on me. I hear one real close. But I assume that's the one that's stuck behind us. Also don't want to accidentally walk into the well. Oh, if I step in there, it won't kill me. Okay. Unless it's a trap. But this appears to be an actual place. So we probably want to be going in here. Yeah, this seems important. To fulfill the promise, the forest folk and the earth folk shall unite in harmony, becoming one. Neat. They become this slime? Is this the thing? You know, how much want to bet this sword's not going to be that great against these? Yeah, apparently it did good enough. I suppose I don't have that much to worry about here at the beginning of the game. Some kind of bread, I guess? Shoes. That bread might also have been a hat. I don't know. Nope, is mushroom. Which is magic stuff. Okay. Wooden shoes. Simple wooden shoes that provide minor protection. Okay. It was too much to ask, but I was kind of hoping that we would actually make different noise walking around with wooden shoes on. Just going clunk, 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 clunk. Spider's dead. That was a very upsetting looking spider, though. Door's also all webbed up to hell. So we probably need fire. I assume I can't just, like, tip this into it. Nope. Okay. 'Twas worth a shot. We didn't get anything else, right? No. And we don't appear to be able to spend our levels. We just get better by leveling. Now we do apparently have more information. People once lived here long ago. The remaining structure suggests that they interacted and lived among the forest folk. The ruins above the ground were once the Shrine of Oath and proved the interaction with the forest folk. Healing water once flowed from the spring. Okay, so we're actually gathering information along the way that isn't necessarily what our interactions are telling us as the player, specifically. So we're going to want to check that journal now and then. Uh-huh. There's something on the other side of that wall. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but something poked through the bottom of that wall for a second. Hey, buddy. Bonk. Nanny. Nee. Oh, look at you using your shield. Arrgh. He got me with that one. He was ready for me that time. What's the matter, bonehead? Don't understand doors? He's a durable boy. Then again, we are using a slashing weapon against a skeleton. This is exactly the issue I was expecting. Okay, good. I really thought I was gonna die on that exchange because he wasn't going to die. Yep. Had a feeling. Open up, open up, open up. The second I saw bones in there, I was like, that's gonna be no good. Okay, guess we're using another herb already. Because, he is invariably going to manage to touch me. Because he seems a bit more in shape than the other one. Thankfully, we can keep him away from us with the door. Mostly. This would be a great time to have magic or a bow or something. This way we could just pop the door, pop him, and then keep getting out of there without getting encountered. Damn it! We're not dead. We're okay. That's gonna get problematic if my character keeps doing this every time I get hit, though. Though it seems to only do it against certain attacks. Probably because he's, like, getting actually stabbed. Ow. Itch. We have a problem with dealing with this guy. He's just that little bit quicker than the other skeleton was in reacting to things. Fuck. I think we leave him alone. I think we leave him the fuck alone at this point. So we have kind of hit a cost fallacy on this one. If I back out now from fighting him, we've accomplished nothing and gained nothing. There's always option B. Wait for him to get distracted again, wander off a bit, and then rush in to grab what was underneath him, and then get the hell out. Because what I can do is run straight forward, theoretically run straight back. But what's more than likely going to happen is the door is going to shut behind me, and I'm going to have to turn around. Maybe run sideways? That way I only have to do a half turn to grab the thing and a half turn to get out? Maybe. He is being attentive on this fucking door this time, though. I guess I should back up a bit more so his attention radius fails him. Gives me a second to check on things, I suppose. It works out in the end, kind of, technically? I don't know. Wow, he just is committed on this door. I think we've really offended him. He's just hard committing now. So at this point, I'm trying to wait till he turns enough that I can get a good shot at him instead. Because he has to, you know, turn to counterattack. Missed. Yeep. Thankfully, he missed too. We might be here for a little while. Take it, take it, take it. He went for the stab. Damn it! The left turn issue got me on that one. I couldn't turn the way I wanted to. Because my intent was to cut a little bit left and then cut hard right. But the left didn't quite work, so I would have ended up hitting the corner if I went straight for it. Well, that was unfortunate. So hang on, let me see if I can figure out why that left turn issue's happening right quick. Not that one, the other one. I do really hate that there's actually no quick option in the right-click menu for Windows to get to the settings for things like controllers and such. You gotta go around your ass to get to your elbow to get to these. That all looks okay. No, it's not an issue with the controller, because up and left is reading properly. In the Windows properties. I do see that it's clicking through and moving me here, so let's pause that before anything dumb happens as a result of that. I'm going to quickly rerun the calibration, so bear with me a second. Ah! Might have figured something out. Because when I was doing the calibration and it asked about the D-pad, it was stuck up left. And you'll notice if I hold the stick up left, nothing happens. If I hold the stick up right, it goes forward and right just fine. Just up left is fucked. But up left on the D-pad's fine. Weird. Back and left is fine. Hmm. don't currently have X input source. I've only got it on SDL support. Maybe that'll help. Like, I genuinely doubt that that'll matter, but why not? Just quickly doing a rebind to make sure that everything is bound correctly, even though I'm like 90% confident it is. It can't hurt to make absolutely certain. This may end up leaving it with double binds, which could be weird. And if that happens, I will fix it. I'm just kind of doing science more than anything, I guess, right now. You know, forward and left sometimes works. There's a very specific angle I have to press forward and left at for it to work. It has to be mostly forward and then slightly left. If I go directly up and left, it's finicky. That is so bizarre, but it's actually behaving a little bit better now. X input seems to be slightly better for this controller. Rather than SDL, which, as far as I can tell, SDL was kind of a universal option. But it doesn't look like we have a double bind problem, so there's that. Something I'm going to try for science right quick. One more layer in. So I'm going to turn SDL off, because having both of those on probably doesn't help anything. But now we've lost controller. Okay, interesting. Was it not reading X input for this controller at all then? Or do I just need to redo the control configuration? Because it is reading the controller properly when I'm doing the settings. So I should probably just need to redo these bindings to get it to understand what I just did. It's probably just a bit confused. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather be using an actual PS2 controller or one of my PS4 controllers, but we've already discussed all of the oddities that are happening with those still. So we're just not going to get into that again right now. Yeah, I have the up and left slightly fine again now. Which, it is overall an improvement over where the angling was working initially. So I'll take it. It's good enough. I can at least go forward and left without it being a huge ordeal now. It's just slightly finicky. And I'm still never going to know the answer to why on that one, probably. Because there's two gaps in which this quadrant to go forward and left at the same time just don't read for some reason. Whereas all other quadrants are perfect 90 degrees. This one is like not even 45 degrees. It's very strange. we will go ahead and turn on the increased sensitivity that I was using. That seemed to help a bit before, too. Let's see what that does for me. Okay, that seems to have actually somewhat helped. A little bit. It's made the range where it'll forward and left a little bit wider. So 140 is recommended. Maybe if I go even higher than that, it'll actually work? Question mark? This might cause fuckery in other games, though, so this could get weird. No, that doesn't seem to have changed anything. That is, if anything, made it worse. And I don't know why it's just left. It's so weird. Let's try going back the other way. Let's go lower. That seems to be about the same. So we'll just leave it alone, I guess, now. Because none of the choices we're making are actually helping the situation any further. We'll just call that good enough. Because we can at least turn and go forward this way now. And this is back before we sold the club. How do I want to handle that? I think the answer is I'm actually going to go check out what's past the shop again and see if we fall in the water if we continue that way. Instead of trying to go deal with that skeleton room again. At least not quite yet, anyway. I don't know if this will be a favorable choice, but it's worth a try. And I'm sure a lot of these control issues will even out a little bit as well as I get used to it. Because the controls in these games are pretty decent, in my opinion, but they are a little jank. Like, for the kind of game this is actually a pretty good control scheme. But it's a little weird to get used to again. And it may be that I'm forgetting that I had this forward-left problem in the other games. Wouldn't be the first time I've forgotten something. Okay, so we hit deeper water here. And over here. So either we need to find some way to drain the water, or we can actually go in the water and not die. There's steps here. So I feel like we're probably supposed to drain the water, but since we haven't done anything since this last save was loaded, let's find out what happens if we go completely underwater. We have an air meter. Okay. It goes very fast, though. Do we die if it runs out? I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume yes. Yep, sure do. Scream real loud for somebody to drown. Huh. Weird. Okay, so going that way, not an option. We're gonna have to go deal with the temple full of skeletons, then. We genuinely don't have other choices. So let's see how well the club serves us. If it doesn't serve us particularly well, we'll go back and get the short sword again. The other option is we could actually just grind a bit of money off the plants. And so are the bugs. And we can then see how the fight goes from there. I should heal before I go fight anything, though. Just since I'm gonna have to do a lot of left turning with the way this hallway over here is. Unless I strafe around them going the other way. Which is unfortunate, both with the way they rotate, ow, and the way I'm usually trying to rotate. So I'm usually one who will circle strafe to my right, because I'm right-handed. And it usually works out better in most games to circle strafe that way around as well. Because most characters are also designed right-handed. Wait. I went in a circle. Okay. I was real confused for a second. It's like, wait, this is not the layout I saw when we walked over here last time. What happened? Because I looked away for a second, walked forward, and then brain processed where I ended up, and I was very confused. Come here, bug boy. They do seem to still be dying in 2 hits, so I'm wondering if either of these things are weak to crushing damage, or if they just only have like 100 health. Ooh, you dropped an herb. I'll take that. Yeah, I took your friend's herb. What are you gonna do about it? Answer is you're gonna join your friend in death. I was pretty confident he would die in a 3rd hit no matter how charged it was. That's why I just wanted to end him before he managed to rotate enough to be a problem. We could always go check out what's around this place instead of what's in it as well. Since we have the information about what's in there now. Whether we go in or not. So it looks like that tunnel over there is just as full of these stupid things as out here is. Experience can't hurt, and they do drop a decent whack of money, though. That said, fighting them in these tunnels seems like it'll be very bad for me. Missed it. Oh, they're both on me, aren't they? Thankfully, they're just ever so slightly stupid. I'll take that trade. Just because without taking that trade on the chin, we probably would have had a worse situation. Okay, let's go the other way since there's 2 of them over there. Or not. Well. I mean, I think with this save, we are 1 herb short because we didn't go get the herb that was down by the broken bridge in this reality. That's 1 misfortune, but I think we'll be okay. There is a chest in the darkness back there. I see it. Or at least, it's either a chest or a box. I think we have enough for the sword. Wasn't it like 150 something? Oh, wait, no, it was higher than that. I think. It was 180, actually. On further reflection. So I think the club was the only thing we could have sold at the time when we had 140. In order to be able to afford it. Bitch. He really didn't want me finishing his friend off. He didn't want to wait his turn. Also died quick. Huh. Where'd the gold from the other one end up? There it is. Because you do have to press a button to pick it up. Even though it just disappears and appears in our inventory. There's an herb in the corner. That's herb in the corner. Yep, that is in fact a chest. There's 2 of them, in fact. Oh, wait, this is the other side of that gate we saw in there. Neat. 100 gold. Okay. We might be in business here. And now we don't need to buy the short sword. Which was the other reason why I was on the fence about buying it in the first place. Because I had a sneaking suspicion we were going to find one. We could buy some armor now, though. Or just buy enough herbs to be able to just munch on them for fun. Because I think herbs were like 40 each. And we have 291 now. That, I think, is where we came in, so let's make sure that the other doorway doesn't go somewhere else. But it's small enough that I don't think we even can actually go in there. Now, there's also nowhere for it to go, so... Yep. There is one other tunnel, though. With armor. Saving us yet more money. Come here, buddy. Come on out here into the open where we can have some fun. Or turn around, that's also fine. I will absolutely accept you turning around and allowing me to stab you in the back. I'm not sure what went through that thing's mind, but I do know the last thing it knew was stabbing. Bones. These bones. But we finally have armor for our bones. 4 slash, 6 stab, 1 hit. Okay. We're also not currently wearing the rest of our armor because I keep forgetting to put it back on every time we've died. There we go. So our overall stats, 14 slash defense, 6 hit, 8 stab, and a decent whack of attack on all types. We're getting there. We're getting into a functional state of being. I would assume that the pill bug things will have respawned back in the initial path since we've been down here for a little bit. But we should probably go back and save anyway, so we don't have to do that hallway again. But actually, we may as well go grab the information and such from in here before we do that. Since it's a pretty safe thing to go get. Since there's nothing in here other than the slime, unless we go down to the secret room. Which we are definitely going to go down there, don't get me wrong. Oh yeah, there's also the spider over there, other than the slime. Touch that just so we get the information. So I don't think we even need to fuck with the spider right now. I actually walked up on the slime and it didn't hurt me. Interesting. What's the slime's deal? Does it, like, just try to gas me if I stay here too long or something? Well, it doesn't matter, it's dead. So I think, yeah, this is where we got the wooden shoes. Which is why I was confused when we didn't have them. And this was, I think, money? No, the mushroom that we didn't use. Right. Okay. We may as well dispose of the spider again. Yeah, I figured you'd have a pretty good forward jump, you little bastard. That's why we stay to the side of you and murder you. As spiders should be. Don't get me wrong, spiders can be a good thing, but a spider that big, no thank you. I have no reason to let that live in any area associated with me. And there's a hallway over here we didn't check out, too. Stairs. Okay. Well, we may as well take a look here, since we don't know what we're getting into up here. A slime and somebody leaning against a wall. I don't know if they're friend or foe yet. Since they're leaning, I would assume they're not foe. I would not necessarily say NPCs are guaranteed to be friends. But they're certainly not inherently my enemy yet. Oh, you're carving something. Oh, sharpening your knife, rather. You want to go to the ancient city, eh? Well, you're out of luck. A monster's nest is blocking the passage ahead of us. If only I could use magic like the forest folk, then I could burn it away. Did you know? The forest folk were skilled at imbuing tools that stored the power of nature. People say the spring outside was once filled with healing water. Perhaps this water was used in the imbuing process. I have a special vial. I hear it was used to hold the healing water. If you want it, we can work out a deal. The rock of life that was once excavated and is hard to find nowadays. If you want the vial, I'll exchange it for a rock of life. Have you obtained a rock of life yet? Okay. You can actually see his eyes, kind of, compared to the other characters we've seen. So that's a thing. I assume this staircase just leads to the other side of the room we already were in. Yep, okay. Okay, so I think we've cleared this out aside from that secret room completely now. No new information from him. Okay. Oh, wait. Ah, there's character-specific journals, too. Okay. So we can reread all the dialogue we've gotten from them. That is incredibly user-friendly compared to the rest of these games. Huh. That really does make me think this was the most recent one out of all of what we've played. Though hell, even the Dark Souls games don't have a quick way to look through and go, oh yeah, this is what people said. And that I've ever been aware of. And away. As long as I can stay a step ahead of these things, I don't think there'll be a problem. And judging from the fact that I keep seeing those lines in the sky, I'm going to assume that's defining the barrier around this place. That is where the mist and shit we saw when people were walking into here are. I also can't help but notice that our health situation when we left here basically was about the same as it is when we're coming back. We're just ever so slightly screwed up. But we're fine. We will be fine. Probably. Maybe. But we'll head up the save point first, then we'll go take a look at the shop and see if we can get anything else to aid in our situation here. I know we can't afford the map as much as I would like it. What? I was stuck, I guess, on the edge of the door? Question mark? I think the door was starting to try to close because I took a step back before going in. So it all got freaked out. That is at least my assumption. With games like this, you can never really be sure what is happening. We know there's nothing over there, aside from we can grab one herb from by the broken bridge, but I don't need it, so I'm not going to bother going all the way over there for it right now. Though I suppose there might be a flag or two from talking to the guy on the rock there that might actually be important. Effort. No, herbs were cheaper than I thought. They're 30, not 40. Morning Star's out of our reach, though. We found a leather vest. Actually, no. We got leather armor. This is a leather vest. Slightly different. Iron boots would be nice, but they're a bit heavy, too, so I would assume that would slow us down. I would mostly like to get the Morning Star, because it's got almost as much hit as the wooden club, but a ton of stab damage, too. You'll note that there is a length stat as well. I'm assuming that actually will affect our reach, since different weapons have had different reach in the other games. I would not be surprised if that was true. But I think, considering what we've been finding laying around, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to splurge on a bunch of herbs and not worry too much about buying equipment. Because I'm betting we're just going to find equipment. Just fine. At least for the time being. Whereas, as long as we can just keep jamming herbs in our face, we're basically indestructible. So, should be fine. Basically indestructible up to the point of, like, falling into a hole or something. Gravity will still remain more powerful than any enemy we can find. Hindsight being 2020, I should have gone to the shop before saving. But it'll be fine. Worst case, we have to go buy the herbs again. Oh no. Worst thing ever. The enemies seem to have stayed dead for the moment. I know the plant things came back after we wandered around for a while, so I just assume they're on a fairly long respawn time. Which is not a bad thing, necessarily. Let's take a look around the neighboring vicinity a bit more, since we're out here. And I'm betting that secret room that the skeleton is in isn't gonna amount to too much for us. Unless we can dispose of the armored skeleton. And that's in there, because he might drop something cool. It looked like the chest was only gonna get us a shield. Which, don't get me wrong, wouldn't be bad, but not priority. Okay, we found more people. People who have a dog. Hello, dog. A dog that ignores our existence. Fair play. There's nothing to do here. It's so boring. This stupid dog doesn't want to play with me. My mother's sick. I came here to take care of her. Only had a rock of life. I found a pretty rock in a house over there, but it wasn't the right one. My father told me that the rock of life can cure any kind of disease. I hope that he comes back soon. Huh. I wonder if the guy up there sharpening his knife is the same guy. Since he's looking for a rock of life as well. Yeah, there she is. A lot of bed stuff laying around, so I'm assuming that a lot of people used to live here. That would appear to be a shield. It's a shitty shield, but I'll take it. It's not like you two are going to use it anyway. Have you come here searching for a rock of life? The mine can be found on the other side of the ruins. If you're planning on going to the mine, it would be wise to take along some of the antidotes found in this valley. The old mine shaft has been sealed. Be careful not to get lost in there. My husband hasn't come back yet. I hope he is safe. My illness makes it difficult to move about. If I could only move, I would go search for my husband. All I can do is pray for a safe return. I mean, you could also ask me to go look for him, but I understand that I probably don't look particularly reliable running around with no pants, a piece of leather on my chest, and on my head, and wooden shoes. Probably also covered in all kinds of awful goo and things because of the monsters I've been fighting. So I guess maybe that might be a point in my favor. Or technically. A bunch of people died here. That explains why there's a lot of beds and not a lot of people. This, I assume, is the sealed up mine shaft she was talking about. Huh. One chest looted, one chest not. Interesting. I assume we probably need to get the magic to break open barriers like that. We'll, like, set them on fire or something. Ignoring the fact that boards like that we probably could just chop up with our sword. It would suck, but we'd get there eventually. Probably ruin the edge on the sword in the process. Or, you know, bash it down with the club, or potentially pry it off with the blade of the sword, which would probably bend the fuck out of the sword instead. There's options for how we could get through those goddamn boards. Or just crawl under it. There was plenty of room under it. But, you know, video games. You gotta do the pre-described solution, or you can fuck off. Ow. Okay, the armor is helping, because they didn't, do that much damage. I thought I was going to be able to circle away from it quick enough. Turns out, not so much. I once again forgot that I have to go to the left, I can't go to the right around this fountain. But what we're going to do is we're going to go fight those skeletons again. Because we probably want what's behind them. Am I gonna regret that decision? 80% chance? Is there a button to use the shield, or does the shield just exist? It would appear that there is no shield button, which is a bit of an abnormality for these games. You know what? Hang on, I have an idea to potentially solve our left-right issue, actually. Nope, I can't put it on that. Okay. Ah, I have to cycle it by doing that. Okay. So what we can do is put these on the L and R buttons. And then put strafing on these buttons. This way, if I want to do that, I just do forward and L1. It's gonna be a little jank to get used to. But it might also help when I'm trying to circle strafe around something. I wanted to put it on the stick. Which I guess I could actually be sneaky and put L and R1 on the right, on the different directions of the right stick, just for this game. That's a thought. Hang on. It's time to be cheeky. So, oop, oop. Because up and down are already on this stick. There we go. Now we're getting places. It feels a little floaty and weird compared to how a game with these kind of controls would normally move. And for fighting, I think having the strafing on the stick is actually going to be fantastic. I just need to make sure to adjust myself accordingly. Ooh, that sensitivity, though. Ooh. That could be a problem. I don't think I have independent stick sensitivity. I think I only have just across-the-board stick sensitivity. Yeah, no, there's just analog sensitivity in general. So that could be a slight issue. But I can adjust. It'll probably be fine. Not often I adjust controls in a game like this, but this one felt like it needed it. Ow. And it's not even because the controls of the game are a problem, it's just that weird issue we were having. Ah, fucker. It just happened to be waiting for me, huh? Now, the problem with having the turning be on the right stick is I can't turn and attack at the same time. Which is why they designed it the way they did in the first place. I completely understand why they did it. Oh yeah, the bumpers now also do nothing, because it didn't set it to both of them like I wanted to. It just swapped it instead of having both be that. I think he canceled our attack when he managed to hit me. Curse you, short sword, living up to your name. Okay, that hit landed. His did too, which is unfortunate, but you know. I almost feel like switching into the club might still be a better idea for fighting this thing. God damn it. It just keeps happening to turn right as the door opens. I don't know if that's his AI kicking in well enough to realize the door is opening, or if he just happens to be in a weird rotation at that exact second. Because sometimes he'll react and sometimes he won't. There he goes. Okay. He dropped a little bit of money. I really should have made these changes before I got used to how this moves. Because now I'm all fucked up. Oh, the chest counts as a goddamn barrier for him. Ow. How did that hit count? Come on, I'm not that wide. This guy's kind of wide, but he ain't that wide. Shenanigans, I say. Shenanigans! Yeah, I knew I was getting screwed on that one because I was backed into the wall. And this is why I bought so many herbs without really worrying about the idea that it might be too many. So I'm getting stuck on all kinds of shit in this room. There we go. If I hit him first, he loses. Just like if he hits me first, I lose. There's just the rare occasions where we both hit each other that it's a bit of a problem. Okay, and he didn't drop anything good. I should have just taken this and ran. Oh well. At least we've dealt with that problem now. I also could have done the door dance again, but it really wasn't working out the second go around, so I wasn't gonna bother. That is a pretty significant defense increase. So it was worth it to get it. Because that definitely does just straight up raise our defense, so we don't actually have to use the shields in this one. Good to know as well. There was also a part of me that was thinking we might have found another item in that room if we got rid of the skeleton. But there was clearly nothing else in there. So that's unfortunate. What might end up being a better call is actually putting the strafing back the way it was and having the turning just be on the left stick. I mean, yeah. That is what I mean. Beware poison. Okay. Having all my looking around be on the right stick does make sense, but it has this weird float to it that's fucking with me. Because sometimes you'll notice it's drifting way left when I'm just tapping the stick ever so slightly. Because the stick sensitivity is way high. It's either that or I do just adjust to using the bumpers to turn. And keep the strafing on the shoulder, on the left and right like I did. To counterbalance the fact that my forward and left doesn't quite work. Yep, there's the poison. I'm gonna guess touching these is what poisoned me. Oh, that is also blinking kind of aggressively, which is annoying to the eyes. And is probably going to kill us, actually. So that's upsetting. Maybe they're not the cause of the poison. Maybe this area just is poison. Can Can poison kill me in this game? Sure can, so it has undone us killing that skeleton. Which, honestly, is not the worst thing, in hindsight. The problem's gonna come from the fact that we now haven't talked to all those people in the house over there and such, I think. And we do have to go buy the herbs again. Which, buying the herbs, like I said, isn't a major ordeal. Yeah, I think I'm gonna switch the controls back, though. This idea is good, but it's fucking with me. So it's not the correct answer to our situation. Now only up and down is on stick. Which I don't even know why it has natural up and down on the right stick in this game to begin with. It's a little weird that that's even there, without the left and right on the stick doing anything. Yeah, I can definitely strafe just fine with the bumpers. That will work out fine. Compared to how that stick was feeling. So then again, the issue wasn't that the bumpers for strafing were the issue, it was the fact that we couldn't turn and go left at the same time. So it undid my settings changes too, didn't it? Sure did. I just realized, it's like, wait a minute. Strafing was how this initially started. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. Of course that makes sense and feels right, because that's how the original controls were, you idiot. There we go. Yes, I know you boarded up the passage. We've talked about this 4 times. Have we? I haven't seen you before. Well, don't worry about it. It's a time loop. Just don't worry about it. You don't need to know. The only part of this that's going to feel real weird for a bit is turning left with the left bumper while pushing the left stick right. Because I now have to basically do a left and right with my left hand at the same time. In terms of how my brain is going to translate that. And that's going to be a bit fucky. Until I get used to it. Part of my brain is telling me that it might be better if I flip which bumper goes which way. But having that inverted makes my brain itch a whole different way. So I don't know if that's a better idea at all. The other option is I try having the strafing be on the right stick. But then I can't attack again while doing the various more complex movements. It also means I'm not going to be able to strafe and go forward and left, similar to not being able to turn and go forward and left. So that's going to be a bit weird. Like, the fact that I'm having to do this workaround at all is already a weird situation. But there just continues to be layers of weirdness to this, is basically what I'm getting at. And I'm only saying this so you guys understand why some of my movement's gonna seem strange. Which, I guess my movement is usually strange to people anyway, so probably doesn't matter. But what do I know? Let's go have that conversation again. Which I think was in this tunnel to the right, and then the bad place was the tunnel to the left. Now this one... Son of a bitch. This one has a save statue in it. Well, that's upsetting. I genuinely was just completely on board with the logic that there wasn't a save statue anywhere near here, because there was the one back there already. Because it wasn't that far a distance. Forgetting the fact that it's early in the game, they of course were going to be littering the damn things everywhere. So all of our current heartache could have been avoided if I just checked that tunnel. Which I thought I did. I did genuinely think I went in that tunnel already. But apparently I was wrong. This should be the danger poison sign. Yeah. Okay. So let's go get the wooden shield and have that conversation again, I guess. Or easy check. Do I have the wooden shield? I do not. Okay. Just verifying whether I had gone over there yet or not. So that must be this way then. But on the bright side, we won't have to buy the herbs again. And if any of my movement makes people slightly motion sick or anything, let me know and I'll see if I can make an adjustment to avoid that. But it may also be that people who get motion sick might just not be able to watch this game. I have heard complaints about that from when I did some of the other ones. And it's just an unavoidable facet of how these first-person games can be for people. I'm just gonna skim through their dialogue again to make sure all the flags get hit. So now the question becomes, where are those antidotes she was talking about in the valley? Yep, the strafe reflex is going to keep kicking in now and then. I'm going to try to use the bumper to strafe, and I'm going to turn in circles instead. Just be confused why I'm not going anywhere. So let's see, we know we can't get in there currently. Or at least as far as we can tell we can't. I don't know if this graveyard's here just to make us sad and show that there is in fact problems around here. Or if there's something there. I didn't see anything, so I'm going to assume it's just there for set dressing. There's something around back behind the building, though. Aha. This might lead somewhere good. Or not. Because that doesn't seem good. Are you by chance stronger? You can drift, so that's already a power move. Oh, they hit really hard, actually. And I once again attempted to strafe quickly and couldn't. Is my poor life choices. Okay, they jump a little bit when they charge, too, so they go a little further, I think. That's worth keeping in mind. I keep stepping onto them a little bit, which is weird. I think it's because we're coming at them from above slightly. We also keep getting juddered to the side by this wall, which is slightly concerning. Missed it. Ow. God. I don't know if he hit me twice or if they just hit just that hard. Ow. Okay, they don't hit that hard, so I'm guessing I got a bad deal on that one hit. There we go. Everything about that situation was awkward. I'm starting to wonder if my entire plan to compensate for the movement issue might also be just making my situation worse. I'm gonna guess these are the antidotes. It's a little weird that there's just like a trail of them. Am I the only one who was really expecting just like a trap or something to come down and hit me the second I went for that last one? Yep, antidotes. Okay. I also forgot to put the shield on. Not that it does a lot, but, you know, better than nothing and all that. Yeah, in spite of the logic of the change I made, I think we are going to go ahead and go back to what we had originally. This is not really working out. I could always try being silly and having it be both strafe and turn. Okay, no, it won't let you do duplicate assignments. Okay. So yeah, we'll just go back to default. In the long run, that idea might have worked, but right now, I think I'm better off having it be the way it was. So I just cannot seem to get my head around that switch, and it is fucking me up. I may need to, like, practice with it to get my brain to change on that one. And right now, I'd rather not, A, make people potentially puke with wild spinning, and B, die a dozen times trying to wrap my head around how that movement works. Because we've already expended extra healing trying to keep myself alive against attacks I feel like I probably would have dodged using the controls they originally were. I mean, to each their own on that one, Oni. Densetsu. Either way, welcome to the show. How you doing? Now, I want you to charge so I can avoid it. Or you can turn around like an idiot. That works for me. And then I'll just miss like an idiot. Mutual stupidity is had by all. Didn't even drop money. Didn't you, little bastard? We'll hit the save point, and now that we have some of the antidotes, we might actually be able to get into that cave where the red slimes were. Trying to find the extreme edge of my reach in the hopes of not getting poisoned by these things this time. It seemed like when I ran into the pile of them, I got poisoned. Or they just have an attack I can't see that is hitting me. Because the first time we killed one, nothing bad happened. I'm a little confused. That one I stepped on. That one's my fault. Their actual location is a little funky, as you'd expect by something that's constantly growing and shrinking. Yeah, no, I think they just either have, like, an area thing they do, or the attack just doesn't have much of an animation to it. Because we've just suddenly gotten poisoned again. And at this rate, as much as I hate the way it looks, I think I'm just going to accept the poison and use herbs to fix it for a bit. Because we only have the one other antidote. And then once I've cleared the worst of these out, I'll use the antidote. It's more efficient, even if it's annoying. And I could put the herb in the shortcut slot, but I don't want to end up using more of them than I mean to. And there we go. I'm hoping that once the worst of these are gone, we won't be getting immediately poisoned again. But we'll find out. There we go. No more green flickery screen. Everything is better. I would immediately go back and save, but I'm betting these are just going to respawn over time. So it's not like they're going to stay gone. On the bright side, that's probably enough money to buy some antidotes, or at the very least, replace the herbs we've used. Okay. Death. Yeah, if I can help it, I ain't messing with that ladder. That ladder seems like a real good way to fall to my death. This seems so much safer than a ladder, though. With all due sarcasm. Got zombies and bats in here, okay. Okay, no, the bat died, so this must be another bat, and it's just staying inside me, which is upsetting. Do not wish bat within. Oh, am I seeing that right? I don't like that. I think that if we haven't finished healing when they hit us again, we get put to wherever our health was getting to, not where our health would have been from the heal. Say it, don't spray it, buddy. Okay. You swing that pickaxe. You sure do. You sure do. Ooh, and you've got a real wide swing, too. Right, then behind you is the place to be. Because even your puke doesn't go all the way back. I just wish I had a longer weapon. We are going through herbs at a concerning rate, especially when I get stuck on the wall like that. Yeah, I figured that was your last damn hit. Works 73 gold, though? Okay. Very restful rest area you got here. Pardon me, sir. Just gonna be going. I'm noticing a theme here. Do not enter. Well, joke's on you. I don't want to read that. Okay. You win, game. I can't physically go in there. Well. Oh yeah, you're just right there, huh? Okay, good for you. I have a sneaking suspicion all those campfires around are going to be useful to us at some point. They wouldn't be scattered all over the place if they didn't have some purpose. Oh, joy. Let's go chance that ladder, shall we? Because otherwise I'm just going to get poisoned again and I'm going to be unhappy. Our current endeavor is to try to find a life stone, and we were told that these mines had the best odds of having a life stone in them. So, gotta be around here somewhere. I just have real big fears relating to this ladder. Yep. I probably needed to either A, press a button for the ladder to adhere to me, or vice versa, rather. Or I needed to back over it, perhaps, to not break my legs. But, bright side, we didn't die. So it already went better than I expected. Okay. Potential for prizes. The mushrooms growing out of them is, yep, concerning. Fuck you. I'm not sure how to feel about the fact that my instincts regarding the mushrooms were correct. 4 gold and a mushroom, huh? Joy. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody died in the collapse here, or at least their corpse wasn't left sitting in it. That we probably need whatever we need to break other walls with. It's looking like I jumped down here for nothing. At least nothing currently. Okay, show of hands. Who thinks that's gonna be a life stone? Because I have an annoying feeling that that blue shiny rock right there is probably a life stone. And we're gonna have to figure out how to get on the other side of all that to get it. Friend? Are you searching for a rock of life? It'll be hard without a pickaxe. I heard a loud noise a little while ago. I wonder if part of the mine caved in. Oh, you mean the big cave-in right behind you? Like, right over there, if you just turn around and walk like 2 feet down the tunnel? There was light here before I arrived. Guess there's other people around. Was is probably accurate. They're probably the ones that are under the rocks over there. I'm busy right now, don't talk to me unless you have something important to say. I wanted to pay off my debts quickly, but I don't think this is worth it. I have better things to do than talk. You can swing and talk at the same time, don't whine. Okay. So, you are useless. Can I have this? This looks different. Aha! Thank you. I don't know what that was, but I took it. Earthstone. Ah! Okay. So we now know that the typical upgrade system exists. So we can't really deal with this problem, I guess. Well, I didn't try actually interacting with this, but I'm going to assume without a pickaxe, yeah. So we need to either figure out how to get him to give me the pickaxe he has, or find another one, or find some alternative means of doing pickaxe-related things, like blowing up the rocks or something. Okay. So breaking my legs to go down this ladder was overall productive. The fact that this ladder is multiple different colors makes me really worry that this thing's gonna break. Okay, so I was supposed to interact with the ladder, so maybe that's why it would have... Let's see if that's how it works going the other way. Yep, okay. That's what we were supposed to do. Now I know so I don't break my legs the next time. Legs are kind of helpful, usually. Okay, that's back where the zombies were. Let's get out of here for the moment and go spend our money. Again. Oh, hang on. We didn't actually go this way before. How am I not hitting you? This is the same distance I was when I was hitting these things before. Oh, okay. If we use physical a lot, our physical will go up, too. In addition to our level. Okay, so them touching us is the damage spot for them. So that's how we were getting poisoned by the red ones as well. And... okay, that is healing us. I assume this is the spring of life that guy was talking about. It's just down here instead of at the fountain where it belongs. So more than likely, once we get the vial from him, by giving him a stone of life, we'll be able to use that. Presumably. There's no guarantee of anything I'm saying since I haven't done any of this before, but the logic is sound. Let's quickly go save before anything can go wrong. Well, more wrong than it already has. There we go. And we do continue to get stronger the more we keep beating our head against the various walls we're encountering around here. So, let's see. We could go around and talk to various people about things, but I'm going to go check in with the shop specifically first. Because I feel like if anybody's going to have useful information, it's going to be them. Relating to tools. There's no guarantee that my thought process is going to be right, but I also need to go get healing herbs anyway. So, may as well two birds with one stone first. Though, you know, don't throw stones at birds. Birds don't like that. Anyone coming in late that's wondering why I walk kind of weird when I'm trying to turn left. For some reason, my forward and left combination on the stick just does not quite work right in this game in particular, and I've yet to figure out why. And none of the workarounds I attempted worked out particularly well. So we have to do a bit of jank to go that way around. It's unfortunate. Huh. Just sold my last map to some old man. So the map's gone, and now there's a wind crystal. Huh. So I guess you could either grind up a bunch of money to buy the map before that trigger happens? Or I can probably get the map from that old man, wherever he went. Or I'm just SOL on map now, which would be kind of funny. And in keeping with how these games work. Let's just buy up a bunch of herbs, I guess. Well, no, I should probably buy a antidote, since we'll have to go through a place where there's red slimes again. And I doubt the antidotes we picked up before will have respawned or anything. These games are usually not that kind. This may turn into I have to grind a bunch of money to make sure we can get through. Which, it's not that expensive, so it won't be too bad. God damn it. Legs, please. Go where I tell you. I could save in here to be safe, but I may as well just walk back to the other save point. There's not that much that'll threaten me along the way. At least not in a way that'll immediately kill me as long as I don't fall in a hole. Which, you know, now spoken the idea of falling in a hole and dying into existence, so that could be a concern, but it'll be fine? Question mark? I know there's one right near me. I could hear it. It tried to bite me. Don't appreciate it, but I'm going to ignore it. Okay. Now we wheel around and go deal with our problems. Hopefully. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, is that these were gonna start respawning. Thankfully, this seems to be the only one that came back, so we've got that going for us. I need a longer weapon, so I stop having to nearly touch these things. There's no poison. Okay, good. It didn't need 2 full charges to kill it. I'll keep that in mind to reduce the risk of me getting poisoned by those things. We may as well top off our health since we are missing a little bit. And this appears to be free. Keyword, of course, being appears to be. It might be finite, so we just eventually come back and it's empty and I'm just sad. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If we don't burn it first. So there's no point in going that way and going back down the ladder right now, as far as we can tell, so let's go this way. There's also the option of being crazy and jumping off the log, but I feel like that'll just take me to somewhere we already were. We know going over there didn't amount to much. We didn't go this way at all because of the slimes everywhere. Okay, you don't quite have to touch them. Just being near them is enough for that to happen. So that's upsetting. But I suppose with poison being inevitable, we may as well just accept said inevitability for a little while. There we go. The worst of them gone. I'm gonna hope that that's enough. Yeah, I don't see any more. The second, anyway. Really not making my money back dealing with those things, though, so that's gonna be a problem. Hopefully we'll find something useful here. Fire is usually useful, but not that kind of fire. That looks important. That'll probably do something useful for us if I push that. Let's not yet. This container is a lie. Ah, that presumably is controlled by this. There we go. This seems safe. There we go. I was about to say, this also seems pointless. Oh, this seems good. You guys have been down here so long that you made a lake of puke, huh? Great. Appreciate it. I'm sure everybody's gonna be so happy to be here. Everybody other than me. Oh, is this sinking? Or is it... Yep, I think it sank. Son of a bitch. Well, that's an inconvenience. Yep, this is where the dead guy was. What do you know? Rock of life. That doesn't cure poison, because of course, they don't want you wasting it. But I was going to, of course, try it. Just, you know, bang the rock against my head. Exactly, Oni, exactly. Just rock on. Can I just climb up and over this and go back that way, then? Yes, I can. Because the gambit I'm trying to make now is I'm going to try to get up the ladder before I die and touch the healing water and hope it keeps me from dying to the poison. Because otherwise we're going to have to do this all again. So I suspect we're not going to make it in time. Especially not with how slow this ladder is, so we're probably going to have to do that again. But I'm not going to give up that easily. Oh, the poison wore off. We're fine. Okay. Good to know poison is not until you cure it or die in this game. It was lasting long enough before that I had some concerns in that regard. We are in an awkward spot now, though. We are out of healing. We have definitely put ourselves at a deficit doing that. Well, on the bright side, if we get poisoned, I'll just go hug the healing fountain. Wait. It damaged me but didn't poison me that time. The I'm not complaining, but I am confused. And the other awkward situation we're in is we now have multiple people looking for this Rock of Life. And I'm not sure who to give it to. Because if I give it to the guy we encountered first, he gives us a vial we can use to interact with the fountain, supposedly. But we also needed to fix the fountain, according to what he was saying. And yeah, I could do with some more life myself. Energy drinks really aren't cutting it right now. And now that I've saved, I'm gonna see what happens if I give the Rock of Life to the guy upstairs in here, since he was the one we encountered first. And he had something he was immediately offering us, unlike the other two options that we theoretically could give it to. Is we could give it to the ailing woman, but I also don't even know if the game will actually let us give it to her. Which is why I'm not really too inclined to walk all the way over to where they are, just to find out we can't actually give it to them. And there's every chance that this guy and those two are connected to begin with. So this is what a Rock of Life looks like. Okay, it's a trade. We now have the vial. You have anything else to say now? This used to be the holy city of the forest folk. I bet you came here in search of the untold treasure hidden. There were many tools fabricated long ago, just waiting to be discovered. I'll find a treasure one of these days. Yep, you're useless now. Okay. And judging from the way he's talking, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume he's not actually here helping people. So that leaves two other remaining thoughts in my mind with regard to this situation, then. One, that means you are forced to make a choice between the people that you could give it to. Two, it's a false choice to begin with, and you could only give it to him and no one else would interact with it. Or three, there are multiple rocks of life you can get. And that may just have been the easiest one. But I'm gonna go back to where the sick woman was to see if there's an interaction that happens. And there's also another idea. There's every chance that if we fill this vial with life water, we can just use that on them to fix them. But I don't know if the game logic would allow for that. Because, you know, the typical, there's only one solution to this problem issue. I want to see if she has anything to say based on the fact we've done this. Nope, she's still saying the same thing she did before, so nothing has changed. I didn't figure, but just in case there was like a flag that triggered from me having given the stone away to someone else. Because our character might have been dumb and just come over here and said, hey, I found a stone, but I gave it to somebody else. Yep, you're still just bored as hell. How you can be bored in a place infested with monsters is a whole other thing. Yes, I have the shield. As much as this wooden little piece of junk is worth, I do have it. It's not like she's using it. I'd be very impressed if she could pick it up and make any use of it. it in her condition. So let's go over to where that pool of healing water is now and see if we can use the vial on it. So I'm not keeping this reality until I determine what this vial does. I'm betting it is used, like I said, to contain that healing water, because that's what he was talking about with using it before. Oh, this is annoying. Can I just, like, scoot between the two of you? Yes, but no. Let's see if this stuff cures poison while we're at it, I guess. It would appear that it does not. So I could just sit here and mash until the poison wears off, is what this is going to boil down to. But I assume, Oni, since you're asking about the shield, that you've played this before. Or you were just paying attention when I was talking about it before. Either one. The having played it before is more likely. Fair enough. This poison will wear off eventually. There we go. Nothing happened. Righto then, that was useless. It probably does exactly what he was saying it will do, then, in that it only benefits us in terms of getting the other issue sorted out. Which means it doesn't help us right now. So, yeah, for science, I'm gonna try loading back to before I did that exchange. I don't think it'll amount to anything, but I'm curious. So I'm betting this is going to be a situation where she will not actually react to us having it, and this will be a waste of our time. But I'm willing to give it a try. I'm not too inclined to worry about bringing it to the guy down in the mine, because he's just looking to pay off his debts. I don't really think that we'll gain much by helping him with that. And he's actually, you know, down there in the mine. If there's any other life stones to be had, he can find one on his own. I did miss this antidote on our way in here before. Of course, he could also mine for the rest of his life and find nothing, but that's his problem. Oh, there we go. There is an interaction. This is a rock of life. Why would you give it to a stranger like me? Okay, she did take it. Please, let me rest. Is my daughter all right? I think she's quite lonely. Okay, so something might happen. Or I've wasted my time. Hard to say. Thank you for helping my mother. Please, take this gift. Neat. I think I've made the right choice. My mother should be feeling better now. Is that? Yep, that's what I figured. Is as soon as we didn't have an immediate use for that vial, I knew we had to get something beneficial from this other choice. And I didn't necessarily assume that it was going to be the fire magic specifically, but I had assumed we were getting that soon, considering the amount of boarded up walls we were seeing in the general area, and I'm betting that's what the fire magic does. But we need to equip it first, of course. Gotta wait for it to charge, as usual. Uh-huh! So now we have access to the boarded up cemetery doorway. We have access to another section of the mine. Though we do not have much magic. Not yet, anyway. One shot of that drained everything we had. That is empty. Okay. I'm gonna guess that the kid took the fire crystal out of that box, and that's how she got it. Because a kid could easily fit under that barricade there and get at things like that. But that was absolutely worth doing. I'm probably going to keep this reality. I am a little worried that vial's going to be important, but I feel like we are probably intended to be able to get both, and getting the fireball will probably get us to another life stone. Judging from the way these are usually laid out, that would make the most sense. That does beg the question, though, what the workaround if you made the wrong choice would be. 'Cause I assume there's probably a path or something you can take in order to get a second life stone or get around them not receiving a life stone. Because now that the decision's committed, if you want to voice what the split there is to a degree, I would not say no. But that is up to you. Not what the future information to it is, of course, just whether the logic I'm pointing out is correct. So, actually, hang on. As a curiosity thought, does he have a reaction to me having done what I just did? Because if my theorized connection is correct, then he may actually have a flag that triggers for me giving her the crystal. So I find that unlikely. Yep, he's still in I will trade you mode. Okay. That is fine. One other thing I kind of want to check is whether we can actually get a bit of mana back from the water. Because if it restores both magic and health, it might be worth it to me to grind raising our magic, since physical has been raised by us swinging our sword. I would assume reusing magic a bunch will actually raise our magic. And it also would be good catharsis to sit there and fireball those red slimes for a little while after the aggravation they've already given me. Which I will say as well, if there's an obtuse mechanic that anybody knows about that would be useful, that I could know but may not have figured out, fair game to explain that. Just gonna point that out ahead of time. I mainly avoid spoilers and backseating as far as plot goes, or people just trying to tell me how to play the game, not, hey, this is a thing that the game never will fucking tell you, but this is useful to know. Especially games like this are very inclined not to tell you certain very pivotal things. But you might be able to figure them out. Come on. Keep healing me, please. It's being a little funky about actually working, which is concerning. I don't want to use up another antidote if I don't have to. And it's definitely not giving us our magic back, so that proves out that point as well. I know how resource greedy these games tend to be, so that's why I'm not wasting anything if I can help it. Aside from what I've already wasted, like when I was fighting that skeleton and spent like 30 herbs fighting it. But we don't talk about that anymore. We also know that we can get the wind stone for wind magic. Our magic's already gone up by 1, actually, but that's probably from when we gained a level. So I suppose there's a reality in which our magic only goes up when our level does, which would be upsetting, but not surprising. Just also making sure that there's nothing else I forgot to put on. In among multiple deaths and such. Okay. So I guess the mushrooms are the only way I'm going to be able to restore our magic right now. So we should probably use it fairly sparingly at the minute. Specifically to actually solve problems. Because I don't remember if we could get more mushrooms from the shop or not. So we would technically have a finite amount of casts. So I would assume that if the mushroom that was growing out of that one corpse respawns, we might be able to get more mushrooms that way. But I don't know about that one either. Got real worried I was stepping just slightly too far over and I was going to fall in the lava and die a miserable death there, and it was going to be upsetting. Out of an interest of avoiding the poison, I'm actually going down into the breakable wall in the cemetery here first. I don't remember if there were any other breakable walls around here. So that vial, if I can get another life stone, might be better to work toward getting than fucking around down here, but eh. Let no one say I make the best decisions, because that would be a lie. I don't encourage lying. Generally. He went through the back. I told him of the dangers, but he ignored me. Okay, so the guy who has the map that we could have bought but didn't went through this way, which means he's probably on the other side of that breakable wall. Which means that wall might have already been broken. Okay, we can buy mushrooms, but they're very expensive. Very expensive, Douglas. Very expensive. Let's not buy anything then for the time being. Oh yeah, this barrier doesn't need to be blasted. He already broke that for us. Does mean we have to fight skeletons some more, which is upsetting. Or we could just avoid them. Avoiding them won't make us any stronger, but we can take a look around. That's gonna get up. That is almost certainly gonna get up and piss me off. Yeah, you can tell because it's got the same sword and shield and armor that the armored skeleton in that one secret room had. Let's nod and say we did for the second then, shall we? I have no reason to deal with that. Huh. Back to dealing with these things, apparently. You know, I wonder if these are the same plants from some of the earlier games, now that I think about it, because this is almost exactly the same design, just they're a little shorter. Then again, Munchie Plant is Munchie Plant. It really doesn't need to be much of a design change. Locked door. And doorway. Hmm. That's a thought. If the fireball gets rid of barricades of the other kind, does it get rid of this? Yep. Okay. So that's how we get to that one chest that was a bit before as well. I was suspicious of these barrels the whole time because I could hit them, but they wouldn't break, but it had a different reaction than everything else. Hindsight being 2020, I of course should have checked the chest barrels first, but eh. At the very least, we now have better armor. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. That's a fucking angry tree. I can see it moving. No, thank you. I still remember what happens with those trees in Shadow Tower. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Save that for when I got a fireball all ready to go. No, thank you. There we go. You're still hanging out, because of course you are. Just realized they've got weird metal shoulders. Oh, there's... Ow! There's another skeleton. I thought I heard another one. But I looked over and saw the slime, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's making these weird bone noises for some reason. Can I? Nope. You could just reach through the bars, you know, buddy. You could just reach out and grab that. The skeleton would probably try to take your hand off for it, but, you know. Let's pop this open while we're thinking about it. Oh, are you kidding me? I have to break 2 of these to fit? You wide bastard. Fine. Wasted my last damn mushroom, but... For a helmet. Hopefully that won't be a problem. This is still watery Deathland. Well, I suppose it's a good thing to have more armor. We are steadily getting heavier and heavier, which might prove to be a problem at some point, but for the time being, it's fine. It is definitely making us slower. But we can sell the old armor and get some stuff together, potentially. Damn him, now I have to clean up his mess. I mean, I'm kind of cleaning up his mess for you already. And it's proven that we don't really need the wooden club at the moment, so let's get rid of that. Ordinarily, I would hoard these things, but with how tight money's been so far, I'm gonna go ahead and just bin everything I don't immediately need. That might come back to bite me in the ass, and I wouldn't be shocked if it did, but it is what it is. The question is, do I actually turn that around and buy a mushroom in order to have access to another thing I can break open now, or do I wait? I kind of want to keep one on hand. I don't know if that's a good idea, but it's the idea I've chosen to have. If that's shooting myself in the foot, I can always grind money if I really absolutely need to. But there are other things I can break that will get us other items, so it seemed prudent. Now, there is something I'm going to save before I try involving the fireball, because I feel like it might be a waste of my time to do. Whereas everything else I knew I would at least get something from. Also, do I actually do anything with this? No. Okay. That was another curiosity. There's gonna be a bunch of saving and loading for a little bit here while I figure out the limitations of the fireball. Because we have a finite supply. The first immediate answer is there a purpose to breaking that, and can it break that? It gets me an herb. That is not a worthwhile exchange for how much those mushrooms cost. But it's good to know that there are things in those. And this doesn't break when I hit it, right? Yes, it does. Okay. I thought I tried that, but I think I assumed it was going to be the same as the barrels. So that's good information. Boxes are breakable, barrels need fireballs. Now, what I wanted to try was setting these on fire. Because I feel like something will happen. I'm going to assume that wasn't because I missed. But I'm also going to check just to be safe. And I could just save state, and that probably would be quicker. Since this is emulated. Which has probably been made obvious to anybody who has played this because of some of the weird graphical glitches we've had occasionally. I don't think my controller's in frame, otherwise you'd also be able to tell because of the controller I'm holding, which is very much incorrect. And of course, this is all assuming that I couldn't have just, like, set the club on fire and used that. Okay, no, that definitely hit and didn't do anything. So that confirms that. While we're doing dumb confirmation ideas, I'm going to try jumping down that well, too. And see if I survive dropping down there. I don't know how I didn't hit the box. And that might also be why I thought those weren't a thing. Is because I think maybe I took a swing at it and it didn't interact. No, I don't remember. It's only been less than 3 hours, but I already don't remember. Yeah. Yep. As expected. As a death. So either we need to get some kind of like slow fall, or get a ladder put in there, or we just don't go in there. Something along those lines, most likely. At least now it'll be ingrained in my memory that I can break boxes, because I've had to now break that like 4 times. Okay, so now having learned multiple things, we can either go fight some skeletons, fight a tree, or go back down into the mine. I'm going over here to grab the herb that's over here, and... Ah! The old man that bought the map was the old man that was sitting out here wondering if there was another way to get across. Okay. That was another thing I was pondering, but didn't really want to speak aloud because I was betting that it was right. And I didn't want to surprise anyone ahead of time on that one. Now, that said, that does mean we missed the dialogue with him because I didn't go back over and talk to him. So hopefully none of that is a necessary flag for anything good. But I also don't know how far the flags go for this one. While I'm over here, let's make sure to clear out what's on this side. Because these things are easy and worth a bit of money. And there might be something jammed in the back corner here that I forgot to grab. I know that there's the thing up there that I still don't know how to get. Nope, looks like there's nothing in this corner. But considering we're having money issues, it can't hurt to clear out easy areas for free money. There we go. I do genuinely wonder how to get to that. So we can't jump or anything that I have ever been able to figure out. But maybe we gain, like, some kind of float spell or something at some point. Who knows? Figure that out eventually. But with what's up there, I would assume we wouldn't be taking too long about getting to it. There wasn't anything tucked back here, right? No. Just making absolutely sure I'm not missing anything obvious anywhere. Pair of shoes over there. Presumably the only way I'm getting to that is by jumping off of here. That looks like lava down there, though. Yeah, I don't like this plan. Don't like this plan at all. I say as I quietly press that button. Okay, we lived through that. I'm only using that save state if I had died dropping in there, just to save us time, since there's literally the save point right back there. But we actually walked around a bunch and got gold and such, so I didn't want to waste that effort. assume we can just walk back up onto that from there. So that's a good upgrade, probably. I also probably could have just gotten to that by walking down that section of wall. But oh well. Okay, so we lose a little bit of hit. But we gain more than enough in everything else to balance that out. And we're no longer wearing wooden shoes. But the point to me climbing up here was to show anybody that came in late that. I'm not even sure what that is, but I want it. But getting it is a question mark. Because we seem to fall straight down, so jumping for that doesn't seem particularly viable. And trying to walk up the edges around over there didn't work. So I don't really know any other way we're going to get to that. Unless we're maybe meant to, like, blow up the barrels and then something happens. Because they do just happen to conveniently have a pair of barrels sitting there. Which is kind of suspicious and awkward and all that. Just in case falling off of this kills me. For our convenience. So I'm going to take my armor and such off to make us light. Because we do seem to move faster when we are lighter. In the hopes that higher speed will throw me across the gap. Not that I expect this to actually work. But if it was ever going to, this would be the way to do it. Yep, nope, you just fall like a stone. So that doesn't work. Just to make sure we can't wedge our way up here. Nope, can't go up that one. And can't go up that one. So it's either something to do with these barrels or shenanigans of some sort. I'm betting what's up there probably isn't even worth it anyway. We can sell the wooden shoes off now as well. But probably won't get enough for that to be worth going out of my way to do that now. I still don't understand this chest that we can't open. It says expedition chest. So I'm assuming it relates to either a quest or something along those lines. Or I can bust it open in some way I haven't figured out yet. I say as I go back to the save point yet again. To do more science. There's also the two barrels in here that I assume exist solely to vex me as far as the fact that they're the same barrels we can break. But I'm going to blow them up anyway because curiosity. I know this is slowing things down drastically, but it's gonna bother me unless I check. Yep, that one does nothing. At least this is quick to save and load. Which is actually kind of surprising for a PS2 game, but then again, the load times are probably cut by the emulation. Righto, that was pointless. And the only reason I'm throwing the fireballs at the barrels, rather than trying to, like, chop them open again, is I already tried chopping them with the sword, and it bounced off before. But Just for shits and giggles. Yeah, we just passed right through it. And as I had before. I was checking to make absolutely sure we hadn't, like, suddenly gained the ability to break barrels with the sword by having the fireball spell. Stupid, I know, but just in case. But since the old man with the map went down into here, I guess we'll go into here. And we'll have the fireball as an emergency measure. Or a wall breaker as needed. Because down here's the only thing that really changed. The other notable option, of course, being that we could... keyword could go down into the mine and figure out what we actually gain by breaking that one wall we saw down there open. But I'm betting it's just gonna be more poison and things I don't want to deal with right now. So I'd rather come back when I have better protection against poison, or at the very least more herbs or more antidotes, etc. If that means I end up missing things, that's fine. I could always go get that next session. Because this ain't gonna be a one and done, I can almost guarantee that. In fact, I can probably actually guarantee that. Especially since this session's probably at most going another 2 hours, but I don't even know if I'm going that much longer. Since I have not been feeling the best of late. And I think it's just the weather fucking me up, so it's nothing to be concerned about, just an inconvenience. And I do have some productivity stuff I should get done today. So I do need to conserve some energy for getting that done. I don't know if I'll, like, transition this to the Monday slot and keep going on Monday or not. 'Cause I think Monday was the day I was doing Shadow Tower and everything. Okay, they at the very least don't have much reach, or it would have interacted with me by now. Oh, there it goes. It was waiting for me to say something. Thankfully, their attacks seem to be kind of slow, so I can just probably traipse my way through here and ignore them. Okay. This is my church now. So what's your deal? Oh, it's the old man. Birds all flew away. I want to return to my family, but I can't make it past these monsters. Well, you made it past the crazy tree things and all the skeletons down in the catacomb. Could you do something about the monsters for me? Which ones? You mean something past this door? There's a skeleton. Do these even have weapons? Yeah, they just seem to be stomping around. But that also came out of the ground, so I have some concerns that they're just going to keep spawning more skeletons. These are infinitely easier to deal with than the ones with armor and weapons, though, I'll say that. I know I'm not getting full charges, but I'm trying to keep him from getting a swing at me. There we go. Well, we'll find out soon enough if he just wants the skeletons gone, but I'm betting it's the trees. Because that would make more sense, since they seem to be a more significant threat than just a bunch of bumbling, unarmed skeletons. But these do seem to be just popping out of the ground, so maybe he's worried one's gonna just grab his leg or something. Who knows? These are basically free kills anyway. And we can use all the help we can get in that regard. Birds are freaking out again. Gonna assume I don't want to step in there. Here comes another one. Another bunch of them. I do have one piece of slight good news for the coming week. The ISP change I mentioned that got rescheduled to Tuesday is scheduled earlier in the day this time, so I might be able to have all of that done and dusted, and it won't actually interfere with stream time at all, depending on how that goes. There will, of course, be complications I'll need to sort out before I start, so it might still be not at the 1 PM start time, it might end up being 2. But theoretically, that might actually start up and actually exist on Tuesday. What that'll be, I don't know. I'm going to need to make a plan, considering I had already kind of filled that in as a day off instead of a stream day because of that. And it may still end up being one if I have to deal with a lot of shit relating to that. Because, you know, social battery and all that. Might not want to deal with people by the time that whole situation's done. That appears to be all the skeletons. Well, let's find out if the skeletons were the problem. Yeah, they seem to just fly away whenever I walk towards them. Ah! Well, that's unfortunate for him. I wonder if there was any way to avoid that. Probably not, knowing the way these games usually work. So now we have the key, which presumably is the key to that gate on the other side of the path here. I wonder how that skeleton got in, though. I guess it probably popped up through the ground just like the rest of these. You would think a church would have been safe, which I'm assuming is why he was hiding in there, because he thought the same thing. Like, oh yeah, it's a church, skeletons won't go in here. Ignoring the fact that they basically live there. And this is the other side of the broken bridge. Okay. What? What? Why is that box, like, indestructible? Weird. I could try fireballing it, but I don't really want to burn a fireball on a box. Does it? Is there an interact? No, it just says wooden box, just like the one I broke with my sword earlier. So what the fuck's the deal with this one? There sure is a village that way. So was this whole endeavor pointless, or was this not what the key was for? Because in the end, it wouldn't really be necessarily pointless, considering we got a bunch of free experience and a bit of money. This seems like a weird situation. And I do wonder why a bunch of the graves are broken. There's just a lot of oddities to this situation that we're in here. I wonder if the old man would have lived if we just hadn't talked to him. Probably not. He probably would have still just died because the flag for him dying probably was us walking out here and fighting the skeletons. And at the same time, I don't particularly mind that he died. I am a little upset that we didn't get the map off his corpse. Was it my imagination, or was there only one of those eyeball trees on the way back out? Oh, the key was probably for this door. Yep. Okay. So maybe... Ah, there we go. That, I presume, is the caretaker's map. And a healing potion. So a long roundabout way just to get the map for nothing. Okay. Interesting. I wonder... I wonder if something would have changed if we had bought the map early. Probably not. So we are here. That spot in the middle is presumably where we came in. Up top left is the village ruins. That's the area in front of the palace. Up at the top there. Bottom right is where the woman and her daughter lives, from the look of things, because that looks like the house. And then up there is the cave, I guess. Why those are all separate spots on this map, I don't know, and I also don't know what the hell the point to this map is. Because this could either be the map of the palace, or the shrine we were in, or it could be a map of that underground section we came through. The fact that he bought the map before he went through the underground implies to me that this is meant to be a map of the cemetery. And the name Caretaker's map would also make sense, but a caretaker would also be someone who takes care of a shrine in theory, too. So I can see logic for either of those. As to how useful the map actually is, I don't know. Doesn't really jump out at me as, oh my god, I needed this. So I'm definitely glad I didn't spend 2,500 on it. But we might be able to have an interaction with the shopkeeper now that that whole line has resolved itself. And maybe that will do something productive. And we also now know what's on the other side of the bridge, which is currently a whole lot of fuck all. Oh, you know, he keeps talking about his family. Maybe the old man was connected with the sick woman and her daughter? If so, I've got some bad news for them. And the desperation he had that led to him rushing off like he did would track with having a sick wife. So that all ties together neatly. I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, potentially. Have you found any interesting items? I mean, technically. Found your map. I could get 500 for it. But I feel like I am actually gonna need that for something. At least I feel like that at the moment. That could easily change. Let's not spend any money right now, since we don't have a lot. That might be a waste. Actually, let's make sure he doesn't have any other dialogue, because he didn't say anything about interesting items before. Nope, he's repeating himself. Okay. So I guess he's exhausted his stuff for the time being, then. I feel like we've come a long way and not at the same time. Got anything new going on? We talked to him about all this before. Nope, he still has his same old dialogue from before. He only had all that to say because we didn't talk to him one of the many times we passed through here after dying. Because I most likely forgot. Now, there's a part of me that wants to try to fight the weird eyeball tree, but I also don't see any point to it. Because maybe it drops something cool, maybe it drops a decent chunk of money, but I'm betting it also takes a beating to kill, and if it hits me, it's gonna really fucking hurt. So it really ends up being something that I file under probably not worth it. Give me 1 second to check on something. That all looks as normal. Okay. Makes sense, makes sense. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit early, but I don't have any immediate paths I want to take that are like, yes, this is best idea ever, we should go here and find exciting things. In terms of pathing here, my energy's a little low and all of that, so I think we will cut it here. I will go ahead and take care of what I gotta do for the day and all that good stuff. We don't really have the numbers for me to stress over finding a raid target. But I do want to say thank you for everybody who stuck around and through all this. As I said before, you can look forward to this either happening again next Saturday, or it might jump into the Monday slot. I haven't fully committed one way or the other on that. My planning has been nebulous while all of this has been in slight turmoil and aggravation. In between the ISP change, I have some paperwork I need to take care of. I still have a bunch of other shit I need to be doing. And I've just been in a weird headspace between being in the slight funk from the constant weird weather and all of that. But that's nothing you guys need to worry about. The show will go on one way or the other. Tomorrow, usual day off. Don't have anything going there. Monday we talked about. Tuesday is the up in the air choice. Thursday I'll probably continue Soul Hackers 2. because that seemed to be doing pretty well and I was enjoying it. I don't want to give that as a absolutely we will keep going with that all day, every day just yet, because at any point it could hit a point where I get real tired of it, because a lot of Atlas RPGs do fall off for me at some point. So I'm worried that that fall off is going to happen at some point. But it did list on how long to beat as being like a 32-hour game, so it might not be that bad as far as that goes. Xeno seemed on board with doing Saints Row 4 some more, but we'll see if something else comes up for either of us by Friday. I don't know, and I can't guarantee anything, since, you know, that requires the scheduling of more than one person, so I cannot promise things for other people. And then, yeah, Saturday we'll either be back to this, or if it takes over the Monday slot, I'll put something else here. Because I was considering starting Portrait of Ruin, because... Funny story with Portrait of Ruin, before I close the stream out. I got very close to the end of that game, and then I either misplaced my copy of the game or misplaced the DS entirely, something along those lines, and then I never finished that game. And I've never had the motivation to sit there and go back through the whole game from the start again. So you can look forward to that potentially being a thing. And if anything, that would be the Monday slot if this doesn't jump into that slot. Just so you guys know what to potentially look forward to. I may also just pull something completely out of left field by Monday. I have been known to do that. But, as I said, thank you all for taking the time to be here. I will see you guaranteed on Monday. If there's more or less than that, we'll see. If you are at all interested, I am going to also use the command for my merch store. If anybody wants to buy a thing that I made, it's there. Make sure to follow if you haven't, if you are enjoying yourselves. If you aren't, understandable. Bit of a low energy day today. Wasn't the best. No harm, no foul. I will see you all on Monday, though. Have a good one, and stay out of trouble as much as you can. Bye.